But anyway, so we got a pretty Trick Room / Venusaur Torkoal team. So one thing that we need to be mindful of here is how do we deal with that. Calyrex Shadow Rider, Ice Rider actually does not do well with Drampa. Rotom doesn't mind him as much. Rillaboom does not seem like a great option. So it does seem like, and yeah, and the nice thing here is I can actually discourage Trick Room by double Trick Rooming. I do like Rotom. I do like Dusclops. I do like Tapu Fini, and I do like Zacian. But what's the order? I feel like I can do Clops and Rotom with Fini and Zacian in the back. Haze also will be helpful against Calyrex Shadow Rider, or Ice Rider rather. That gives us an opportunity to reset any chilling nade boost that it gets as well. But just something to be mindful of as we continue this fight. But let's see what we can do here. Okay, my Doppelganger sends out Incineroar and Mimikyu versus Dusclops and Rotom Heat. So most likely the opponent is going to try to set up Trick Room. Or they could potentially set up Trick Room, but setting up Trick Room actually isn't great. Assault Vest, Mental Herb. Okay. So here's what I'm going to do. I want to break the disguise of Mimikyu, and I kind of don't want to take any... Well, I can take a little bit of chip damage. I'll go ahead and Thunderbolt the... Was it Assault Vest, right? That's what we saw? Okay. What else do I got? Who else did I bring? I brought in Fini, right? Yeah, then I feel like Volt switching into Incineroar is a good call here. Do some chip damage. Okay, cool. I am glad I didn't set up Trick Room then. I wonder what Incineroar would try to do then. I guess Darkest Lariat? Fini would also be a good Dynamax option for sure. Okay. So they're going all in against the Dusclops slot. I take that relatively well, and I get a Fire for Nightshade. Yay! Looking good so far. Cool. Alright, so while Dusclops took a lot of damage, we were able to kind of spread our damage a little bit overall, and get Fini in safely. So let's take a look at what other Pokemon they got, potentially. We got Venusaur, we have Torkoal, we have Entity, and we have Calyrex. So, if you switch in Venusaur now, that would be a pretty good call. I could call that out by using Pain Split. Who would you switch out? You'll probably switch out Incineroar. So I honestly don't mind Helping Hand and Muddy Water, I guess. I could also Pain Split the... I like Pain Splitting the Mimikyu, honestly. But I'm cool with a Muddy Water for now. Okay, so I am glad that I did not decide to call out a switch quite yet. So they both take that actually pretty well. The accuracy drops are actually kind of nice. We are going to get another Darkest Lariat onto the Dusclops slot. I would imagine what the opponent's trying to do is get the KO with it. But we actually outspeed. We get the fire off the Pain Split, which does a lot. And then that means that we are going to get the Trick Room up. So that does mean that Incineroar outspeeds. But honestly, not the end of the world. Because now I feel pretty compelled to Nightshade the... Ooh, wait. I don't want to get a KO just yet, though. Or maybe I do. I'll Helping Hand. No, I don't know. Actually, I kind of don't want to. I'll Pain Split with Incineroar. And I'll Moonblast on Mimikyu. Okay. Kind of works out in our favor. I think the one question I have is, it's probably Calyrex Ice Rider, right? Oh, it's Torkoal. Okay. Okay, so we underspeed the Mimikyu. We get the knockout here. Problem here is that if it is Calyrex Shadow Rider coming out right after, that does give us a little bit of trouble. Okay. Ice Rider, rather. Question here is who are you gonna, what are you gonna do? So I kind of feel like Plane Splitting can help out as well. I can do that with Torkoal. Feeney switching out. It doesn't seem right. How many turns of Trick Room we got? We got 3 turns of Trick Room total. Can Feeney survive 2 attacks? If so, then we're in a good spot. I don't mind using Muddy Water. It's not going to be that effective, but I feel like it can be helpful. Torkoal just fires off Eruption. That might be enough to knock out Dusclops, let's be real. Okay. Okay, so it's Glacial Lance. It's a single target move, though, which isn't great. Alright. Obviously no freezes, but the accuracy drop is what we want at this point. Does a lot on Torkoal crit? No, no crit. Okay. Okay, Rotom's going to be our best option here. So, I'm trying to think. What do we need to do? We need to accomplish knocking out Glacier, or the Calyrex Shadow Rider. It is super effective. It does a lot of damage. You could switch an Incineroar, but the sun's up, so it still will take a lot. We could max Lightning the Torkoal. How many turns of Trick Room we got? Got 2 turns? I kind of want to make sure that they don't have really solid Dynamax options. So I'm game for us hitting the Torkoal and protecting Feeney for now. Okay, I figured as much, and it would be Calyrex, yeah. So I didn't want to climb. I didn't want to collide into a potential max. I wouldn't want to collide into a weakness policy. So I appreciate the play that I'm making here. Now it looks like we need to charge up our controller soon. But I do appreciate the play that we're making here. Rotom has to survive a double up, and Feeney's protecting, which is nice. I'm trying to think what my opponent would do against Rotom, because it can't max Quake. Overgrowth doesn't do anything. It would hurt Feeney for sure, but I feel like something that's important here is that we protected, so we could potentially survive a turn. Perfect! We love to see it. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I don't mind colliding with these protects here. Like, I feel like once we can get it to where, because Zacian also has protect, Heat Wave is fine. I didn't want to switch in Zacian. I am so glad we didn't. That gives us 1 extra turn. Rotom will take that like a champ. Crit on top of that. Oof. But we are going to fire off this Max Lightning. Okay, so that is a knockout here. And then it's Incineroar versus... yeah, Incineroar can't intimidate Rotom, which is really helpful. And as long as Glacier can't get a KO on with Zacian, I think we're going to be in a solid spot. I'm trying to think. What could we do to... I don't want to get another turn of Trick Room setup. Right? So, we kind of almost want to bait into potentially having Feeney... Okay, so Rotom is going to be intimidated, so it's Feeney. Okay. This is the last turn of Trick Room, so the opponent does have an opportunity to set it up again. I say we put all our eggs in knocking out the Incineroar basket. Let's max Lightning the Incineroar, and let's Moonblast the Incineroar as well. The idea behind this is... Okay, Darkest Lariat, perfect. That means if Glastrier double targets, it goes for Quake on Feeny. But if I knock out Incineroar, that means that I get to fire off a free max. I get to fire off a Behemoth Blade into the Calyrex slot. The special defense increase is problematic, though. For sure. Is that +2? Question here, is my Max Lightning enough to knock out Incineroar? It is not. Trick Room's over, though, which is nice. The way I look at this, we have to Max Lightning Incineroar again, and we have to protect here. Most likely, Calyrex is going to try to target the Zacian slot, but there is no priority on their team, which is important. We have to play the safe play, and we just have to play it safe. If we can get this knockout on Incineroar, that just makes things a lot easier. We got the knockout, yeah. Calyrex probably is going to go for like a max Quake here. Yeah, I honestly would have too. Not a big deal. But we take that like a champ. Sun's over, which is unfortunate for Rotom, but I think in the long run, the opponent has to consider a couple things. The big one is, who do you target? Right? You using Glacial Lance, you're not going to knock out my Pokemon. You potentially could with +2, so that could be a possibility. They just fire that off. But luckily Calyrex can't. I don't want to go for Overheat. 90% accurate. I don't know. I'll go for it. We know that you aren't Assault Vest, so that helps out. But hey, Behemoth Blade should be enough for a knockout, honestly. Unless you're super defensive, like you found some way to do that, but we'll see. Because I think in Protector is important, because if the Max Lightning wasn't enough for the knockout, then we would have been in big trouble here. Yeah, that's enough to knock out. So, no crit on top of that, right? Yeah, just a knockout. Cool. Yeah, we played that well. That was awesome. Whew, that took a lot. That took a lot. Feeny coming in clutch. Feeny was just doing so much work. The defensive buffs and everything were so helpful. So, huge shout out to Feeny for sure. We love